Sorry in advance for my voice. I was sick over the weekend and lost my voice. Don't know where it is. So,
Bro, back in high school, you could not get a fucking sore throat without getting roasted.
yeah. Yeah. It was always like, oh, you're out there sucking dick.
Yeah.
It's not even how that works.
You couldn't even get sick without being gay.
Everything was gay, dude. They couldn't even call your name without you being gay. Remember when they used to do attendance? They'd be like, here's an example. They'd be like, Mikey, and somebody in the back would yell, hot. And it was like, they couldn't even call attendance without you being gay.
Oh, they'd call me gay and they'd be like, who the fuck is that? You're gay.
God forbid you had a fucking middle name.
Yeah.
And the substitute teacher went through the full name for roll call.
Miguel Angel.
What?
No, man, please. It's Michelangelo.
I'm gonna do that at the reunion since I'm gonna be calling up everybody's name.
Taking attendance. And then like actually
Can't even go to your reunion without being gay.
And then the gay people go up. What? Wait a minute.
You don't say shit, dude. I almost got in trouble in high school. Was it my senior year, I think? I started a newsletter. Only lasted 2 issues. So I started a newsletter, and it was meant to be isolated to just the ROTC. It was meant to. Do you remember the website The Onion
Sounds familiar.
or like Duffel Blog?
Maybe.
It was like fake news, is what it was. Like legitimate fake news. It was very obviously fake. So it was in the spirit of that, and yeah, I accidentally outed a guy that I thought everybody was on. I thought we were all on board. Like, yeah, he's gay. I guess he just hadn't come out of the closet yet, and I was still too young to know. You're not supposed to just out people, and I outed him. He was the headline article. It wasn't about him being gay. It was about self-promoting. So if he promoted himself to a higher rank. And there was a bunch of other stories. It was like a full-blown newspaper or newsletter. It had a shit ton of stories in there. All of them were comedic. Some of them were semi-serious but comedic. And then they made their way out into the actual high school. And then this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but the guy that was the headline took it to the principal and took it to the ROTC people. And then they were trying to figure out who the fuck did it, because the whole point was to remain anonymous the entire time. And that lasted no time.
Well, it was just you guys passing out the fly or the...
No. So we would go when the building was empty.
Oh.
And we would leave the stacks on the tables. So when people showed up, it was like, oh shit, there's a new issue. That was the intent. But
good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
It's bad execution.
Went a little too hard,
Yeah.
I think. And they reviewed the cameras. They saw it was me.
Oh, that was excessive.
Yeah, they saw it was me. They called me into the principal's office.
Because I called a gay guy gay?
Yeah, and to the shock of the principal, of the vice principal, because the principal was going through his extramarital affair issue.
Of course.
So he was a little checked out on our affairs. The vice principal was like, look, technically, this isn't slander. This isn't, you're not slandering anybody because he is gay. And this is the vice principal telling this to a 17-year-old kid. And she was like, and you worded this very, very well. You're not directly, you didn't say his name.
Yeah, she was like, who's your English teacher? I need to commend her.
She was like, at no point did you say his name or anybody's name. You hint at who, and we all know who because these descriptions match the people very, very well. But technically it's not slander, and it's not libel or anything. But we are going to ask you to not do this ever again, or we're going to have to not let you graduate because you just outed a kid. to the entire class. And the ROTC building made me write and print an entire second issue where the headline was a retraction and an apology. And I fought it for all of 2 minutes. I was like, no, my journalistic integrity will never let me. Fuck it, I can make it funny though.
Yeah.
And then I did it. I still have it. I'll show it to you. I have the second issue. I don't have a copy of the first one anymore.
Something similar happened to me in one of my duty stations where we had a black dude in our squad, and he was like chill. He didn't, like if you intentionally called somebody something racist, you're saying it as an insult. Mm-hmm. I get it. Like they're going to get mad. But if you said some shit, just playing around, he didn't care. One time I called him a niglet in the group chat. like Diglett. Yeah. The Pokemon. He didn't care. He thought it was funny. My squad leader was like racist shit won't be tolerated. And I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's just a joke. And it's crazy because it's the white people that get offended by it.
Man, do I got a fucking almost identical fucking story.
But so he got mad. And I remember I was drinking at the time when we were having this conversation in the group chat. And when he said like in all caps, like racist slurs won't be tolerated, I responded in also all caps, we will not tolerate you talking to us in vulgar language, because he used to always call us like fucktards and dumb shit and shit like that. But like we didn't care. Like, we just knew it was a joke. So I hit him with that. Yeah. And I guess he got offended because he knew it was true. And he called me on the phone. And he's like, are you fucking drunk right now? And I was like, no. He's like, what the fuck is your problem? You can't just say shit like that. And I was like, well, if the shoe fits. And he's like, I'm not having this conversation. I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, oh shit, oh heck.
Well, I mean, the thing is drunk or not, you had a point. Yeah. Right? Where it's like, I can see where he's coming from. But also, you're casting stones while you're living in a glass house. You know what I mean? Like you're being a hypocrite in a sense. But a very similar thing happened to me when I was in Virginia in the schoolhouse. There was this black guy, and I don't remember his name. But we weren't friends. Like, we wouldn't go out with each other. But in formations and stuff, and in passing, we always cracked racist jokes at each other. So I would make black jokes, he would make Mexican jokes. And his were always so original. They were always great. Like, I really wish I could remember some, because I remember, I think the first one he ever said, I was like, damn, this dude's got a beautiful mind, man. I've never heard that joke before. And I've heard so many Mexican jokes before. And for the most part, they all get repeated. This is the same with black jokes. Yeah. For the most part, they all get repeated. And one day in formation at night, we were going back and forth. So I was in the third squad, and he was in the second squad. Or he was in the first squad. And so we were going back and forth. And then I had said, what's the difference between a black guy and a box of pizza? Which everyone should know the joke to this, right? Where it's the box of pizza can feed a family of 4. And he was dying. He thought it was hilarious. He apparently had never heard it before. Well, later on that night, at like 1 a.m, I get a bang on my door. Pow, 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 pow. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I get up and I open the door. And it's there was a sergeant and a staff sergeant that were in charge of MAP platoon. MAP platoon being Marines awaiting training, or Gen Pop. And these were fleet Marines. So they were infantry guys. They weren't there a part of intel school. They were there to just run the MAP platoon. And it's this sergeant, and he's black. So, and that'll play into it a little bit later. He's banging on my door. I open it, and I'm like, what's going on, Sergeant so-and-so? He's like, Gunny Santiago wants you in the duty hut. So put camis on. It's raining. Thunder. He wants you in the duty hut. I'm like, fuck. What did I do? And then I remembered earlier, I had broken one of the rules. And I was like, fuck. They know. They know I broke this rule. Even though I was by myself, they know. So I get dressed, and I walk over to the duty hut. and I get in there, and there's the gunny, there's the sergeant, there's the guy on the staff on duty, who happened to also be black. The gunny's not. The gunny's a white guy. And I'm standing there, and he starts shouting at me. And saying all sorts of mean shit. How fucking can you?
Probably exponentially worse than what you said.
Yeah. And he's like, how can you fucking look at yourself in the mirror? Like all this sorts of shit, but does not say what it is. And so in my mind, I'm going, it's about this thing. It's about the rule that I broke earlier. And he goes, do you know why you're here? And I go, yeah. Yes, Gunny, I know why I'm here. And he goes, so why are you here? And now I am about to out myself for breaking a different rule. And I kind of like drop my head and I'm like, fuck, this is it. I'm done. And he goes, I'll tell you why you're here. You're here because you're a racist piece of shit. And I was like, I'm sorry. Let's hold the phone there for a second. What did I do? Also, I'm Mexican. I want to make sure I know I'm very light, especially at night. It's very easy to, I'm Mexican. So let's get that out of the way.
I know Mar's not a very Mexican last name.
Yeah. I was like, but if you add a little flair to it, a little mar, then, and then he proceeds to tell me that somebody complained about me making racial jokes. And then they go through the whole thing. I say who the guy is that I was making jokes with. And so they bring him out of bed and they bring him in. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I say Mexican jokes. Are you going to call me a racist? Because he had that like black guy confidence of like when it comes to race.
Yeah.
Like even to like a gunny, he was like, are you going to call me a racist for making Mexican jokes? And the gunny was like, no. It's totally different. Which is, by the way, is racist.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is 100% racist. Just saying. And so they tell him what was the joke that I said. And he says it, and then the black sergeant and the black staff on duty start laughing. And the gunny now is extremely uncomfortable because you want to laugh with them, but you also don't want to laugh with them because you just told somebody that saying that is racist.
Yeah.
And then the sergeant was like, what other jokes did you say to me? And so I said like 2 more, to which they laughed at. And the gunny was like, well, this shit's never going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, who reported it? And apparently it was a white guy in the second squad that was in the middle hearing all this shit. He got offended on behalf of black people.
Yeah.
And so he called the sergeant called the gunny. The gunny had to drive from off base where he lived on base because all he heard was, hey, there's some
bigotry.
Lance Corporal, being a racist towards black Marines, and we know his name. We know who it is. They called the white guy in, and they were like, the fuck's the problem? Excuse me. And he's like, oh, well, Mar was making racist jokes towards black people, and I was looking out for, and he points at the black guy, and the black guy's like, dude, I don't even fucking know your name. Like, don't look out for me. Like, I got me. Like, if it would have bothered me, I would have said something. And then the gunny said the same thing where he was like, you need to, now his tune has changed to like, you're the fucking racist for assuming like this is a racial problem. Like, you're trying to cause a racial problem. Yeah. Because Lance Corporal Mar over there is Hispanic.
Yeah. That's what I mean by, it's kind of hard to explain, but racism is being kept alive by shit like that. Because if you just don't take it as an insult, or don't let it be an insult, then it's gonna go away.
Now there are obvious things that are racist, and you can tell, but not everything is, right? Like, I don't get offended at almost any Mexican joke or any Mexican stereotype. Unless I'm actually portraying that stereotype, and I get a little butthurt. Yeah. But outside of that, like, there's really nothing.
It has to be a direct insult, but then in that case,
it's the intent.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're trying to get at, right? It's what is the intent behind your words?
Yeah,
If it's to hurt, then yeah. If it's not, then it's not.
it could be the same as them insulting us in non-racist ways. And
yeah. Anyways, welcome back to Two Vets, Two Mics, episode 5. Episode 5?
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry that I sound like a prepubescent girl.
No, I'm not. I don't accept it.
Fuck. I hate it because most people get sick and they lose their voice, and then they get like this really raspy, sultry, sexy, like
Godfather?
like 70s like cigar lounge smoker, fucking singer voice, and I just sound like a 12-year-old girl going through puberty.
But to just cap off that story about my squad leader.
I'm sorry, I didn't even notice it. I thought you were done. My bad.
Well, I just don't want to. I want to give everybody closure.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
He made me write an essay.
Oh.
He made me write an essay and then made me read it to our squad.
Oh, no.
Including our chief, who was just laughing the whole time. He's a white guy. But he's also from like fucking redneck, some fucking place like that.
Some podunk ass place.
Yeah, so he didn't give a shit. I literally just went on Wikipedia or some shit and looked up why racism is bad. And it's really hard to find shit. But yeah, I just read off shit like straight off the book. And he's like, "Did you learn your lesson?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, don't say this around you.
Yeah, you racist fuck."
Yeah. I made one person write an essay ever. And I think I've said that story before. I don't know if it stayed in the episode. But I told you about the first kid I ever made cry. I made him write an essay. Yeah.
What was it about? What was the situation? Just real quick.
I was a corporal. I was running morning PT, which is basically physical training, just exercising. So I was running morning PT, and he didn't show up. And so we just assumed he overslept. I sent somebody from his section to go knock on his door. He wasn't there. They went looking for him. They found him at the gym.
That's right.
And he was a PFC, and I was a corporal at the time.
He just took it upon himself to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm. And I knew he knew because I specifically had told him what time to be at formation. And had them go and get him from the gym and brought him back. And as he's coming back, he's not in green on green, which is what we were all wearing. So our PT gear. He's wearing sweats, a t-shirt, and has like fucking Beats by Dre. And he's just like walking and bopping. And whatever, have him run over. And then it was just, for whatever reason, so triggering to me that it was like...
That he didn't care.
Yeah, that he didn't care. And so I went full bulldog corporal and fucking laid into him. And then he started to cry. And then I was like, I'm going to get a hazing charge now.
Yeah.
So I like dialed down a couple notches and then sent him on his way. And then back inside the building, I went into his section. I was friends with his staff sergeant. We're not friends, but we were on good terms. And I was like, hey, I need you to write me an essay. I need you to write a one-page essay on why it's important to wake up on time and be at your designated place. And I want you to, it's going to be 1 page of explanation, and then I want half a page of examples. So, for example, why it's important to be up on time and be at your designated place if we're out and deployed, XYZ. This is what could go wrong, XYZ, so on and so forth. And he did it, and then I had him read it in front of all the lance corporals and below. That was the only time I've ever done shit like that.
Showed his ass. I never made anybody write an essay.
He got kicked out of our unit.
He probably deserved it.
He was a huge piece of shit, but not intentional. Like, he wasn't a troublemaker.
Yeah.
He was just an idiot. And those are the ones you feel bad for. Because you're like, look, I know you're fucking up a lot.
I know you're trying.
Yeah, but I know you're trying.
But it's not good enough. We had a dude like that. Name was Delpit. He was a little fuck. He looked like a little black nugget. He was from Louisiana. He had this stutter. We'd always roast him for it. It literally sounded like he talked like, even about me.
Like a fucking Looney Tune?
Yeah, bro. He was a fucking character.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man. But yeah. he like meant well. He wanted to do good. He tried to
those always break your heart.
Yeah. Like he even had some sort of initiative to like get a head start on work and do what was next and always do what was right. But he just fucked up so much.
Man, I've known a lot of people like that were really well intentions, you know, really sweet people. They were just stupid.
Yeah.
There was one that's from boot camp, and I'll say his name because I know he doesn't listen to the podcast, and he's too dumb to figure out what a podcast is. So
I say Delpit because I hope that I don't think he's gonna watch it, but I hope that people who know him watch it. And fucking remember his dumb ass.
I don't think anybody that I went to boot camp with still talk to this guy. His name was Onderdonk. And you ever notice they all have the dumbest names?
They do, man.
They all have the dumbest names. His name was Onderdonk, and this guy didn't know shit. Didn't know how to tie his shoes. Didn't know how to tie his boots or how to lace them. Couldn't put on a belt to save his fucking life. Because you know how our belts in the military, they're not like regular belts. They have like you have to like loop them. And yeah, this guy just couldn't figure it out. And our drill instructors would come out during our square away time. And square away time is just organizing your foot locker, right? Because you're throwing shit in there throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, square it away. Make sure socks are lined up and everything is neat in there. They would come out of the drill instructor hut, and then they would yell, "Turn on the Discovery Channel." So turn on the Discovery Channel. And everybody would yell, "Click pop." And then we would just look at them. And we would just watch Onderdonk try to figure out how to organize his foot locker for like 10 minutes. And it was a gas, dude, watching him try to figure out, like matching his socks. All of our socks are the same color. They're all brown. And watching him try to like match them. And then like he would fold. And then the fold maybe was too long, so he would start over. It was a fucking gas, dude. Every single time.
Like, I tried to sort my socks by color because they eventually faded or
once they fade, that's color. We were like a month in, dude. Our socks were faded.
Also, I wouldn't care there. Like in that situation, I'm just like, whatever, 2 fucking socks. You're only gonna see one color on the outside, anyways.
Yeah, he was just it was just dumb. I feel bad for him. They pissed in his canteen. You know what? And I'll say the story before we go on break. But there was a night, apparently, a couple guys. You know the canteen. Canteens they don't look big, but they hold a lot of liquid in there.
A quart?
Yeah, they hold a quart, which is a lot.
Yeah.
A couple guys apparently filled his canteens, so both canteens with piss. To the brim. To the fucking brim, dude.
And they just soaked in there.
They did it at night. And then the next day, we were PTing and stuff. Because we need to fill them up at night before the next morning. So they're already full for when the day starts. Next morning, we're PTing. And word had gotten around at this point that they had pissed in his canteens. And we look at him, and he opens a canteen, and he starts drinking. And for a split second, you're like, I'm going to say something, because that's fucking gross. And then he didn't even react.
He drank it?
He just drank it.
Oh, God.
And then it wasn't until halfway through the day that he went up to the drill instructor. We're back in our squad bay. He went back to the drill instructor. And was like, he had already finished one whole canteen.
Oh, my God.
And he was about halfway done with the second. And he finally goes, this recruit thinks there's something wrong with his water in the canteen. And the drill instructor goes, "Fuck is wrong with your canteen?" And he goes, "This recruit thinks it's the bleach because this recruit's water tastes funny." And so he goes, "Pour out your fucking water outside the squad bay." And he flips it, and it's just dark yellow piss. Oh. And the drill instructor has to pull down his fucking campaign cover to hide from laughing. Because as far as he knows, this just happened, and you just took a swig out of it. And then he goes, "How long has this?" And he's like, "All day. Since I woke up, my water's tasted like this." And then he goes, "Is this the first canteen? Like, you just haven't drank water all day because it tasted funny?" And Underdog's like,
"No, drill sergeant.
I'm almost done. This is my second canteen." And the drill instructor loses his shit, goes inside, comes out, puts us all on blast for doing this. And Underdog still has no fucking idea that he just drank piss all fucking day. Yeah. And they're good. Look, it's disgusting. And I think it's fucked up. There comes a point where you're like, dude, you're a fucking, I don't even feel bad. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how fucking dumb you are.
Yeah.
Like, how did you not at any point during that whole first canteen go, "I think this is piss"? Or, "I'm just going to dump this water. I need new water in here." So, yeah, I went from like feeling really bad about it to just like blown the fuck away. Like, dude, you know what?
Yeah, like I would have dumped it out and got fresh water at least.
Yeah, I would have been like, it went bad. I need to wash this canteen better or something.
Yeah.
A whole canteen and a half? A quart and a half? One's half a quart. 2 pints?
It's half a quart. I don't know. Who cares?
Fuck. Look, we're idiots. Not drink piss idiots.
2 cups?
Mm-mm. It's not 2 cups.
We'll go do the math on break.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hey there, fellas. Are you curious about how your love muscle measures up? Do you want to know if you're a contender or a pretender? Then you need the Woodpecker app. The only app that will tell you the honest truth about your twig and berries. The Woodpecker app is simple to use. Just snap a photo of your manhood, upload it to the app, and our team of Dicksperts will give you a rating on a pecker scale. And for a small fee, you'll receive a personalized Woodpecker appraisal certificate. You can hang it on your wall, frame it, or even take it out to the tree we plant in your name. Yes, that's right. For every appraisal, we'll plant a tree in your name so you can visit your tree and your woodpecker at the same time. So what are you waiting for? Download the Woodpecker app today and find out if you're a mighty oak or a weak sapling. Warning, the Woodpecker app may cause sudden confidence, loss of interest, and non-rated genitals that inhibit you from those with lower ratings. Use at your own risk.
What was up with that ad?
I have no fucking idea. That was...
We got to get sponsored somehow.
Yeah.
Dude, you think they're hiring?
I hope so. Dude. I would love to be a Dickspert.
Hell yeah. Just look at dicks all day.
All day. All day. I think I'd be I think I'd be like a, I don't know, maybe like a middling oak.
Yeah.
I know some guys out there would be a birchwood.
Those are good firewood.
Yeah.
Make good crackling sounds.
If you don't know what birchwood is, it's the one that's different colors throughout the shaft. So some of my more spotted friends might know.
You think I could send in like pictures of mine and then I appraise it myself? Or you could think they got policies against it?
It's probably a policy against it. Yeah.
How would they know?
Yeah. A dick flicked of of interest. All right. So, yeah. We're sponsored now. Right? I think last episode we were complaining that we weren't sponsored. So we got like 4 views and then sponsored. Boom. Dude, we made it.
Yeah, we're set.
We made it. To the 4 viewers, share this shit. What do you... God, there we go again. I'm being aggressive towards...
I guess this isn't would you rather or how much for, but do you think you could take on an adult male silverback gorilla?
No.
What would it take for you to take one on?
Like
a reasonable fight, not just a fucking elephant gun. Like terrain and strategy and resources.
Oh, okay. Put me on a beachfront with a big hill, kind of like when they stormed the beaches in Normandy. It was a long beach and then had to go uphill. Make the gorilla start at the head of the beach and put me up on the top of the hill. No bunker. Give me about 1,000 rounds of 5.56 and a M16 with an M203. A couple rounds of that, some HE.
Maybe that'll be enough.
Yeah. I think I could take it. No. Okay. If it had to be a more realistic thing, put me in an urban environment, just a regular neighborhood. So let's say this street of houses. About 500 rounds, 5.56. What? I think that's fair. About 500 rounds of 5.56, and let's make it about 30 rounds. No, maybe it's about 45 rounds. 45. I think I should be good.
You think?
I think I should be good. Here's why. Here's why I say urban environment. Give me in a street of houses, right? I want to be able to move from cover to cover. Use windows. So I know, hey, if I shoot this thing and it doesn't go down, it's going to know where I'm at. It's going to charge. I want to be able to maneuver through this house to get the fuck out into the next house. Hopefully I could do it quickly enough. But I think I should I'd be able to stand a chance doing it that way. 500 rounds because shit, it don't hurt.
I feel like as long as you don't start like immediately right next to him, a couple of rounds will do.
Yeah. What about you? What would be your ideal? And I say realistic, but I mean like he's not in a cage and you're outside of it just fucking popping rounds in. What would be your ideal?
I'm inside the cage with him. And he looks at me and he says, "Hey, freak show.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going?
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime."
Nah, I guess I'm trying to look for a scenario where we don't use guns.
Oh, no guns.
Well, obviously guns is just easier.
All right. Well, I'm not doing it. Get me a fucking Highlander sword. No, it's too heavy. I'd get nope. Give me just a regular.
Would you be able to do it with
sword.
any melee weapon?
Two-handed sword. Two-handed sword. I think I can. Or actually, give me like a spear.
Yeah, I feel like a spear would be the best. Yeah, just let him do the work.
Give you that range. Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking of it in terms of. There's a film called The Edge, starring Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins. Have you ever seen it?
Nope.
So, and I'm going to spoil it, but it is a movie that I saw on VHS. So, basically, Anthony Hopkins is this multimillionaire guy. They go out into the, flying out into nature over, woods and shit. And their plane gets a bird strike. So now it's Alec Baldwin, Anthony Hopkins, and another guy whose name I forget. They get stranded out in the woods, and they got to survive a bear that's hunting them. So there are these guys that are not survivalists trying to survive in the woods. Anthony Hopkins' character is a very well-read rich man who lived his life reading books about survival and like these great stories of people, beating the odds. And so he uses a lot of that knowledge one of the things that he does to their success is they sharpen these spears, they whittle them down to points, and they provoke the bear to charge them and go up on its hind legs to attack them, because that's what bears do. And then they would jam the spear into a rock and then hold that position and let the bear impale itself. I feel like you could do something similar with a silverback.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then have like a, I don't know, backup knife for
little K-bar.
Yeah, when he's impaled, but he's still got a little bit of fight left in him before he bleeds out.
I feel like a little bit of fight in him is still a lot of fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
that's the best case scenario.
Yeah. If it's no guns, I think that's what I would do.
So no cage and brass knuckles.
No, fuck. Fuck no. All right. So same question, but let's change it up a bit.
Betty White.
Would you rather be hunted by a couple bears? Say these bears are working together somehow. So let's say 3 bears, 3 grizzlies, or be hunted by one man.
Who's this man? Is Del Pitt the man? But like, what's their I don't know, survival experience or hunting experience?
Let's say they have the exact same experiences that you do.
Oh, heck. I would choose that guy just for fun.
World's Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah. That's a book, right?
Yeah, it's a book, yeah.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
I need to read it again.
Yeah.
I wish they made a movie on it. I hate
There is a movie on it.
Really?
There's a couple movies on it.
Is it just called Most Dangerous Game?
I think like 2 of them are called that, yeah.
Need to watch them.
Yeah, they're not that great.
We could recreate it. Real life. Just
Yeah.
find some people.
That's exactly how the movie goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would choose the fuck, man. I'm leaning towards choosing the guy also, honestly.
Even if I lose, it'd be great. Great way to go.
Yeah, I would feel better losing to the guy than to the 3 grizzlies.
What do you have to fight against the Grizzlies?
Nothing. Just whatever you can make. So you'll have, all right. So let's give it the edge terms, right? You'll have a pocket knife. You have a pocket knife, and that's it. And same idea versus the guy. The guy also only has a pocket knife, and so it's going to be a, who can outsmart who.
Yeah, that was just straight 50-50. But the Bears, 3 of them. Is it like 3 adult male, or is it like mom, dad, kid?
3 adult males.
That's tough.
Because here's the way I see it, right? With bears, you don't want to fight them at night. You don't want to fight anybody at night. Anything at night. Reduced visibility. It's just not a good idea. Especially if you're on the defensive. If you're on the attack at night, it's advantageous for you. If you're on the defensive, which I would be, I'm a very defensive player when it comes to anything. Anything I do, I play very much on the defensive. I'd have, if it's the bears, I'd have a circle of fire, right? It's essentially campfires. And I'd be in the middle. And I wouldn't get much sleep, if any, until daylight broke. And then I'd go on the hunt for the bears. But I would have used my knife throughout the whole night, whittling spears. So that's, now if it's a guy that I'm essentially trying to survive, I think I would have to do the same, whittling spears, but I'd have to be laying down traps, dead man traps, swing traps, all sorts of shit, which fortunately, for whatever reason, I know how to do those things. I don't know why.
But he does too.
Yeah, and that would be the shitty part.
It would just come down to like who can find who first and stalk them, or
yeah.
If it was one singular bear, you just wait it out, stalk him. But 3 of them, even if you wait while they're sleeping, it's tough to just take one out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can't just spear them through the head. Your fucking spear will break. Yeah, it's shitty all around. I'd take the guy.
Maybe you can rely on the fact that bears aren't big team players and they'll split up.
Yeah. But that's even, in my opinion, almost scarier.
Yeah.
Shit.
Make them fight each other.
No, assuming that they're not going to fight each other. Like, they're man eaters. They've tasted human. They want it again. Specifically Mexican human, and they like the spice.
Yeah, even though it's 50-50 against myself, I would still take that one because it seems like higher rate of survivability.
Yeah, I feel like against 3 bears, it's
You're done.
90% chance they win.
Yeah.
Because even if you do the dead weight trap where they fall on your spear, how the fuck you getting out from underneath a bear while you got 2 other ones, fast enough to reset your trap?
You're done.
Yeah. I'd set up so many deadfall traps.
I'd fall into myself.
I'd probably do that too. Yeah. There's I've always wanted to do a simulated version of that. Man versus man. Go out into the woods and like, hey, you know what? Let's let people know, hey, if we're not back in a week, in like 5 days, or 10 days or whatever, fucking send help. We're lost. And then just, hey, let's hunt each other. Not for real, not to hurt each other, right? We're not going to set actual, but the concept of it that way, just for fun. I've always wanted to do it, but it's illegal or whatever.
Well,
all right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's get the fuck out of here. Don't forget to sign up for the Woodpecker app. And see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
bye.